Where do you stand on players playing international rugby for a team that they qualify to play for on residency? That residency is now 5 years. You have to live somewhere before you can play for that country. It used to be 3 years, which led to loads of project players, and World Rugby rightly extended the rules and put an end to that. However, what do you think? What's the principle of what you think on that particular subject? And I bring this up again because of this story, which has been in the news this week, where apparently Steve Borthwick is having a look at 4 South Africans who would qualify either now or very soon to play for England on residency. And I have 2 opinions on this topic overall. And I'll give my opinion. Please tell me yours in the comments down below. Give the video a thumbs up as well. I'm Tim, this is Egg Chasers. And my thought on the matter is, I don't like it. If I put my fan hat on, if I think about the principle of international sport and what it's meant to be about, I don't like it. I just don't like it. And if I could choose, I wouldn't have players qualifying on residency. But at the same time, I can also put my player hat on, and I understand how hard these players work, the sacrifices they make to get where they get. Also, just how easily their career can be ended by one injury. And so I also, at the same time as not liking it, I also don't begrudge any rugby player for achieving any success, money that they can while they're able to. So if I were one of these players and I had the opportunity to play for England or another country, wherever it is around the world, I would 100% do it. If the laws allow it, do it. So I can not like it, but I can also think the player should go and do whatever's best for them, their family, their legacy, 100%. I'll be interested to know what you think. Leave your comment down below. So the 4 players in question then, a couple in the back row to start with, and honestly, how many players do South Africa produce? It's particularly props and back rows. It's like, well, the rest of World Rugby would have some issues if they weren't able to pilfer forwards from South Africa. 2 more that become eligible to play for England this year. Hanro Liebenberg, who came over in 2019 from the Bulls and has been a loyal servant for Leicester Tigers, captain. And if Rassie Erasmus wanted a report on this player, he could just ask Andre Pollard or Jasper Wiese, and they'd have a glowing reference. The problem is for Hanro Liebenberg, as I just mentioned, if there's one thing South Africa don't struggle to produce, it's amazing back row players. And he would be absolutely worthy of a place in an England squad. I don't like it, but if he got the opportunity and if Steve Borthwick wanted him to, and I were Hanro Liebenberg, I would absolutely say yes. And the same goes for Jacques Vermeulen. Hanro Liebenberg and Jacques Vermeulen, both about 29 years of age, I think. So slightly older age profile. I actually don't think either of these 2 will materialise. They could do though. Jacques Vermeulen also qualifies this year. He came to Exeter Chiefs in 2019. He won the double Champions Cup Premiership with them. And Rob Baxter at Exeter has let a load of his players leave. But along with Henry Slade, Jacques Vermeulen is one of those key guys he has kept hold of, because he recognises, and he's right, in just how good and just how important Jacques Vermeulen is. He is brilliant. And again, if I was Jacques Vermeulen and I got a call from Steve Borthwick, I'd absolutely, I'd be there in a shot. Do I want it to happen? For Jacques Vermeulen, yes, but generally, no. I don't think either of those 2 back row picks will happen because of the age profile. They're 29 now, so they're sort of getting on a little bit. Whereas the next 2, I think if South Africa do not pick these 2 up, they will be wearing England colours before long, whether you like it or not. Bernard Jansie van Rensburg, centre, Bristol, formerly London Irish before they went kaput, and in his time in the Premiership, he has been outstanding. I think he's had 3 seasons now, so I think it's another year and a bit. Maybe the start of 2026, he would be eligible. So still in plenty of time during this World Cup cycle. He's 27 now, so it'll be 30 come the next World Cup. Prime age, and he is absolutely class. And to put this in perspective, he's been the best player in his position in the Premiership this season. A Premiership which includes Andre Esterhuizen, World Cup winner, fellow South African. And when you look at that South African squad, you look at Lekanyo Am, had some injury issues. How's that going to play out? Damien Dialende, still class, pushing on in years a little bit. Jesse Creel, I mean, the guy's got the muscle tone of a chimp. He'll be around for ages. Andre Esterhuizen, he's sort of a couple of years older than Bernard Jansie van Rensburg. There's a good argument to say this guy gets selected for South Africa, I probably would think about bringing him into the fold. I think he is a class player, 12 or 13. And but if they don't, then rest assured he will be playing for England. He's already said he would love the opportunity to, if that happens. Should he be picked for the Springboks, or do they not need him? It's an interesting one. And what do you think about this whole thing in general? As I say, that's the bigger question here. As much as talking about any individual player, it's about the principle of it, I think. If I was a player, 100% I'd do it. As a fan, really don't like it. The final one, Tyrone Green, 26 years of age, brilliant attacking fullback for Harlequins, standout player in his position in the Premiership this season, picked in the team of the season, and with Damien Willemse out for 4 months, with Willy Leroux, amazing player, getting on in years. How old will he be? What condition will he be in by the next World Cup? They will need to start looking at the next couple of cabs off the rank. They've got loads of options, but should Tyrone Green be one of them? He's a Springbok under 20, but he qualifies to play for England in 2025. And I'm telling you, if he's not been picked up by the Springboks by then, he will absolutely be an England player, because this guy is ace. Again, if I were Tyrone Green, that's what I would do. Do I like it? No. Do you disagree with me on that? Let me know. It's the same, and this isn't just about England. It's not just about South African players, although a lot of them are the ones that get pilfered because they produce so many. But it's the same wherever you look around the world. When there was the 3-year residency, and for Leinster and Connacht, and for Ireland, they've had James Lowe, Jameson Gibson-Park, Bundy Aki. Now, all these guys have been amazing. They're just amazing blokes. Fantastic guys. They've been brilliant servants for Ireland. Great ambassadors for the sport and for Irish rugby. So I'm not knocking it. And I wish them every success, and they deserve to be playing on the international stage. But the project player thing had to close, didn't it? In my opinion, it wasn't right. I'm delighted for the players. It wasn't right. I don't want to see England go too far down that path either. But I mean, you can't argue without just that they deserve what they've achieved. I would have liked them to have achieved it with their own country. Now, Emmanuel Meafu, interesting one. This was the first phone call that Eddie Jones made when he took over as Australia boss to Manny. He went, Manny, mate, any chance, mate? And no, I've already made up my mind. I'm going to play for France. He actually got citizenship for France as well. I think that was a rule, at least. It might not be a rule anymore, but it was the rule that you had to have a French passport to play for France. They had like their own rules, but I think they've opened the floodgates a little bit. Manny Meafu, now a French international. Paul Willemse was the same, in a similar position. And the thing is, this is the issue I have with players qualifying on residency. It means that the richest nations, the unions with the most money, have the opportunity to take resources from some of the nations which don't have the same amount of clout or cash to push around. And just look at the top 14 in France. They've got a massive TV deal. They're the clubs that have got all the money. They're a massive attracting force for loads of players from all over the world. And JJ Van der Mescht at Stade Francais, South African, giant man, 150 kilos. He's going to qualify and probably end up playing for France. I don't know what's happened to that picture, but that is a picture of Tavita Tatafu, a giant 150 kilogram prop from Bayonne. Tongan, I believe, and qualifies to play for France. And Joel Merkler, who is... It's got a weird one. So Joel Merkler is German-born, Spanish international, qualifies again to play for France, I think, in the next year. And that's just 3. There are loads like that. So, yeah, it's an interesting topic to get into. I don't begrudge any player. It's what I would do. I wish them all the best. They should earn all the money they can and take all the opportunities that are open to them. As a fan, do I have to like it? No, I don't. Do I want England to win the next World Cup? Fan hat on, yes. Would I want them to win that by picking lots of South African players? No. But at the same time, I want those players to do the best that they can. So there's nuance here, is what I'm saying. I'd be very interested to know what you think on this. Let me know in the comments. Give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe. See you on the next one.